Hi everyone, this is Lynette from Enhanced Hair Care. On today, I'm going to be discussing everything you would need to know about traction alopecia. This is my client and she is suffering from traction alopecia. The cause basically is from her wearing braids, weaves, sew-ins. These are the things that she shared with me that she used to wear to her hair. This is basically self-induced. And, this is the end result of her wearing hair extensions over time. I am applying my intensive repair oil treatment. This basically helps to restore hair follicles that are slow producing. Now, some of her hair is scarred, so some of her hair will not come back, but a lot of her hair will, because she do have some follicles there. So basically, this is what we're doing. And I'm going to style her hair where I basically camouflage so that you can't even tell that she have issues with traction alopecia. So as you can see, I'm applying the product to her scalp and I'm just making sure everywhere that I want to help and treat the section, that's where I'm applying the product. Now, as I style her hair, you guys just can take a look and see what I'm doing, because it is a lot that I want to share about traction alopecia. And another thing, for the flat irons that I'm using the Glam Palms flat irons, and this is their stiletto flat iron, and I think I'm going to use their 1/2 inch. So those are the flat irons that I'm using. Now, let's talk about traction alopecia. Now, traction alopecia is basically a type of hair loss that is caused by consistent pulling onto the hair follicle. Now, basically, when you're wearing weaves, when you're wearing braids, sew-ins, extensions, if you're pulling your hair back a lot, this will cause traction alopecia. Now, traction alopecia is not only in women. Men also can have traction alopecia. So, you see the men who wear the tight buns when they wear their hair up or they're pulling their hair back. All of these things cause traction alopecia because you are constantly pulling onto the hair follicle. So, some women think that there is no hope though. They really think that, they have to wear hair extensions. But if it's not too far gone, or if they have hair, you can camouflage it a whole lot. I see so many women coming into my salon and basically they are having issues from wearing hair extensions. I used to do hair extensions, but I totally gave it up because I seen the end result of what women were dealing with when it came to traction alopecia. Now, one thing I want to say is I'm going to be doing a lot of camouflaging back in this section, so make sure that you pay attention to the way that I'm curling the hair, because I am sharing a lot of information about traction alopecia. But like I said, this is self-induced. You do not have to have traction alopecia. There is hope. When you start to see your hair, like if you start to see your hair start to get extremely thin, or if you're starting to see your hair like you're having bald spots, if you're seeing that, you should stop wearing the braids. Stop wearing the sew-ins. You just have to completely stop wearing it. And then, using oils that help to stimulate blood circulation or help to stimulate blood flow in slow producing areas will really, really help the hair to grow. But if you continue to wear the braids, the sew-ins, the weaves, pulling your hair back extremely tight, wearing rollers in your hair at night, All of those things cause traction alopecia. So if you're using products that are trying to help to stimulate blood flow, but you are continuing to basically do the same thing that you always done with your hair, you're going to see the same results. Now, one thing with traction alopecia, it doesn't get better, it only get worse. So when your hair starts to get thin or your hair starts to get sparse, those are the times that you need to pull everything out and just be free. I know that sometimes, they have this saying where you feel bald-faced because you've been wearing extensions, and it is an addiction. Women do get addicted to the full, voluptuous, full hair. But at the same time, I always say, this is not your hair. So sometimes you have to work with what you have. There are women who have to wear wigs, but double up with the stocking caps that you put on your hair, and wear a root stimulator, something that's going to stimulate blood flow. And if you don't have to have the wigs on, don't put them on. Let your scalp breathe, because what happens when you when you stop wearing the styles, it will cause the hair to continue to put, well, when you stop wearing the styles, basically it will, it can be reversible. If you start to see where your hair is getting thin and sparse. But if you see where your hair is thin and sparse and you continue to wear the weave, I promise you're going to have the same result. So, I hope that this is helping. But like I said, with traction alopecia, over time, it is irreversible. It can cause damage, and the hair can be permanent loss. You can have permanent hair loss, and the hair won't grow back at all anymore. So one thing you got to remember, basically, when you're dealing with traction alopecia, just know when you start to see your hair getting thin or you start to see your hair getting sparse, just stop wearing the weave. It's just that simple. And if you see where, you feel like you just have to fill in, don't put no weave in your hair. I have women that they feel like, because some of their hair is missing, they want to fill in that space. But if you are putting hair extensions on top of an area that is scarred, that area is basically traumatized. So why would you put weave on top of hair that you are trying to get back? It just doesn't make any sense. And like I said, like the other day, I seen a young lady crying. She was crying because her lace frontal was so beautiful. But to me, she should have been crying to take that out, because over time, that's going to kill her hairline. I just don't. I really don't. I really don't know the best way to explain this, because I don't want to offend anyone. But like I said, just focus on the key. Your main goal when you have traction alopecia, when you start to see you have thin, sparse areas, the main goal is just to take all the weave out and start focusing on your scalp so that your hair can grow back. I hope I shared something that is informative and allow you to be aware of basically what a lot of women are dealing with. Some men deal with traction alopecia, but a lot of women are dealing with traction alopecia. And a lot of times when your hair isn't right, I don't care what you say, you just don't, you don't feel right. And when you're losing your hair, that's just something hard for women to go through. So see, in this section, this is her most problem area. And I'm basically going to curl that hair forward, just so that I can cause the hair to camouflage itself. And then I'm going to curl the hair backwards. You see that? And basically it's going to cover once I comb her hair, once I comb the curls out. And I find, you know, the best way to camouflage areas that are very thin or sparse or there's no hair at all is to curl the hair. Sometimes, like, you know, a lot of times people do comb overs, but I like to try and add style to the person's hair, you know, and each person is different because you don't know exactly what a client is going to come in with. But I always try and give them some type of style so they don't feel like they have to wear wigs or they have to put in hair extensions where the hair is missing, you know. And then sometimes what you can do is to put a little bit of hairspray onto the scalp. So you can use, like if I was using hairspray on her hair, I would use like a brown hairspray to the scalp. Or I can use an auburn hairspray, and it's temporary color. You can get them from the beauty supply store. Then they're not that expensive, but you can put that to the scalp where the hair is bald. And that will create an illusion that the hair is fuller than it really is. For this client, I really didn't spray anything on her scalp. But sometimes I have to spray the scalp because I have a lot of clients that deal with traction alopecia, and a lot of them, their hair is returning. But sometimes, just like I said, when the hair is scarred, when that follicle is scarred, and you totally then basically kill the papillae, because that's where the blood flow, that's where all the blood flow of the hair, your nerves and everything of your hair follicle is. And once you kill the papillae, the hair is it won't grow back. It's destroyed and it won't grow back. But you know, for this client, you know, I worked with her hair and her end results came out extremely well. Now I want you guys to please share this video so that we can have awareness. And basically, look how full her hair looks. She absolutely don't even look like she have issues with balding, you know. And I want you guys to share this video so that we can have just bring awareness to people, especially if you know someone that's dealing with their hair thin or sparse. You know, you can show this to stylists and it'll give them ideas on what they can do instead of just adding hair extensions into an area that a client is already suffering or having problems in. So guys, like, comment, and share my video. Thank you guys so much for watching. All links will be down